All right, good morning, guys. Happy Wednesday, July 2nd. I'll keep on doing that for a few more days. But we got the half day tomorrow, then we are closed for business on Friday. But all right, guys, let's go take a look here at the rankings on the spreadsheet, which I've got here somewhere. There we go. All right, so jump in, take a look here. Everything remains pretty bullish. Got the indexes with a collective 89% of their best score. It was a little bit interesting yesterday. You had a big pop in the IWM. You had your Dow stocks, big move in the Dow, and then the S&Ps are pretty much a dead flat. Then your QQQs, your Amazons, the Nvidias, Microsofts, SMH, they kind of cooled off a bit. If we look at a QQQ, really any of them. So here's Cash QQQ. Decent flush. You pulled back a good. It's about 1.5% off the highs. It's a kickback to a daily AEMA. No change in the score. You got 15 points. No change in the trend, the structure, momentum. If we go look at maybe an NVIDIA, I think a few of you have heard of this one. Right, you consolidate at your AEMA. So your 21 EMA is your home base. The 21 EMA is the mean. Then you can think of your AEMA like that's kind of your momentum moving average. Consolidation at the AEMA. All right, and big push. You pull back to it. They hold it. Big free score of 15. The trend, the structure, all the pretty colors. All right, same thing for the SMH. Pulls back to and bounces off the AEMA. Same thing for Microsoft. Same thing for a Meta. Same thing for Amazon. So I think the key from here, here's what I think could happen. And we're not going to take a trade based on what I think could happen. Price action and the indicators. But if we look at the QQQ futures here, bigger time frame wise, really, really bullish. 15 points, no change in trend, momentum. You then look at maybe your 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute, 5 minute. They're not looking too hot. You got a 5 minute sell. There's a 15 minute sell signal, 30 minute sell signal. So it does make for a weird spot where the bigger time frame says get long. You've got momentum working in your favor. You've got the wind at your back. You got the stacked DMAs, a buy signal. The bigger time frame says get long, and then a 30-minute QQQ or 30-minute NQ. That one says get short. -13. They broke the structure. They broke momentum. So what I think could happen here, they maybe take it down a little bit more. They maybe even pop it and break it below the AEMA. If they can quickly get it back above, could make for a little short-term bear trap. And then maybe things turn the corner, grind higher into, today's close, higher into tomorrow. Bigger picture, they break and close below the AEMA. Not a big deal, not the end of the bull market, but below your AEMA, we might get a bigger buyable pullback to a 21 EMA. So I think that'll kind of be the key for all of them. Question 1, can they hold their AEMA? Question 2, can I get a fresh buy trigger on a 15-minute time frame, a 5-minute? If they're above the 8 with no buy trigger, I can't buy it. So that leaves me a little bit stuck here on the NQ for this morning. I would love to buy it here. It can make for a great buy zone. But I'd rather buy it when my 5-minute chart's bullish, my 15, all of the pretty colors. Then here's the other thing I think you want to factor in. If we take, where's our spreadsheet? All right, so if we take the 75 strongest names on the board, Raytheon, DoorDash, Google, TSM, AMAT, General Motors, you got Mondelez, QQQ, Monster Beverage, AMAT, XLK. You got these guys up here: Autodesk, Bank of America, some Citigroup, Wells Fargo, XLF, XLI, BlackRock, Capital One, Goldman. A little bit of a bank theme. But if we take the 75 strongest names, all right, so here's our column sorting by average true range moves above your 21 EMA. And I think I showed you guys this back on Monday. I think a good entry is anything within 1.25 ATR above that 21. So a good example right now would be maybe something like the ABT daily squeeze. All right, pull that one up, and yeah, I love it. Daily squeeze setting up. I got the white arrow. But more importantly, I can jump in and buy it here and play that moment in time. Put it in a percentage form. If I can buy it around 136 and change, I could put the exit back here below the daily 50. And percentage-wise, I'm taking on about, we'll call it about 2.5% risk. If they take the squeeze, break it out, push towards that third ATR target, I'm maybe catching about 4 to 5% push. So yeah, it's a really good looking setup, but more importantly, you can play it with a great entry. Then think I'm coming in buying the calls here at $1.40. All right, I'm maybe catching a cool 1.5% in my favor, or I may be taking a 5% pullback on the chin back down to support. So again, I think a good rule of thumb, a really good sweet spot, anything within 1.25 ATR of that 21. You can buy it at 1.5, but I think that's a nice little sweet spot. So that being said, if we take that watch list and sort by that column, we are in a spot where the strongest names on the board, that they're also your most overbought. Goldman at the 4th ATR extension. Dow Jones at +3, Ford at +3, Wells Fargo and JP Morgan at +3. Here is Disney, Bank of America. Here's Morgan Stanley. Here's the S&Ps. They're at 2.75 ATR. And then communications has been pretty strong. Here's XLK 2.3, financials 2.3. The semiconductors 2.2. NVIDIA at 2 ATR. Lam Research at 2 ATR. The QQQ at 2 ATR. Point I'm trying to make is we're at a point where could they take a Goldman Sachs into 5, 6, 10 ATR above that 21 EMA? Yeah, theoretically they could. Probabilities wise, it's made the easy part of the push. And I'd argue it gave you a little extra on top. Daily squeeze, white arrow, the breakout, the push towards the extension. It gave you a little bit more there. So the only thing I'm trying to say is from a swing trading point of view, I wouldn't want to go out there today, tomorrow, next week and get long. In any kind of fashion where a pullback to a daily 21 EMA would be a devastating experience. So I jump on the mic in the room today and we buy some. All right, we go buy a bunch of the NVIDIA 160 calls for next week. Then we're back to work on Monday, and lo and behold, here comes NVIDIA back to 146. Nothing about it will have changed. If you like it at 160, you like it at 155, I think you got to love it closer to 145. It'll have the 15 points. It'll have really good trend. It'll have your 8 above your 21, your 21 above your 50, stacked EMAs, momentum. But that normal, healthy, buyable pullback, it'll kill your out-the-money call. So my thinking would be maybe a little bit more, if it's on a quick day trade or something where I'm buying cheap calls and expecting, something like an end of day 15-minute squeeze, or I'm going to buy it really small, accept the max loss. If it's more of a true swing trade position, it could be something like, all right, I'll wait for a trigger, of course, but maybe I'll take half my typical size up here at the AEMA. And then, hey, they turn the corner, break it out. It's a good problem to have. You don't got your full position on, but cash is cash. If they break the AEMA, I may be down here 145-ish, 147, trying to buy the other half. Versus putting myself in a position where if we don't, if it's not that constant gap up, push, 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 go, 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 I'm not trying to get back the profit from the snowflake trade. And we got to remember, when the market's moving, things are pretty easy. All right, so last week we bought Palo Alto, or we bought Snowflake rather on a Monday, caught a gap up on Tuesday. On Tuesday we bought some Nvidia, caught a gap up and took a profit on Wednesday, and then on Wednesday we bought Palo Alto. All right, caught a little gap up there and again took the profit. I think the further and further you get from your daily 21 EMA, you can get to a point where things aren't going to be that easy. Got to give the ideas a little bit more time to work out. Got to give them a little bit more breathing room. All things to keep in mind. But all right, guys, in terms of setups here, there is a bit of a drought on my end. We have the put credit spreads here in Palo Alto, which did take a pretty good thump in there at one point yesterday. The blessing and the curse of a put credit spread. The curse is if they gap it up into $250 per share, I'm not going to double, quadruple, 10x my cash. Can only make that max profit. The benefit of the put credit spread, it's a little bit more forgiving than an out the money butterfly, in the money call, out the money call, the debit spread. So I'm going to try to give this a little bit more breathing room. But in a perfect world, they get it and keep it back above, call it $200. And then I'd have to say much below yesterday's low, even though we got to put credit spread, we'll probably cut it loose and move on to a greener pasture. So giving that one a little time to work, and then that's kind of it, guys. I mean, we can pull up the squeeze radar here. All right, if I'm looking for a really good daily squeeze and a really good entry, I've got ABT. We could look at AT&T. We're not going to have that perfect entry. All right, I buy it at 29. I catch a move into maybe 29.50. It's about a 2% push. If they kick the thing back down to the buy zone, that's about a 3% push. Rather buy that around that 28.50 and change. So for a daily squeeze, we have ABT. Wouldn't quite call it a heavy hitter. What about the 4? Bunch of neutral squeezes here for the 4. What about a 2-day squeeze? In food for thought, if I think there's a chance the market might have to pull back a little bit more, I might shift that short-term focus to more of the 1-hour squeezes, the 30-minute, 15-minute, then wait for a better market to go play a weekly squeeze, a 2-day squeeze, a 3-day squeeze. A couple things here on your 2-day squeeze. You got BK, General Motors, the utilities. Utilities actually look pretty good here. I found they can be a little tough to trade. But wow, yeah, look at that, huh? Squeezing on the weekly, the 3-day, the 2-day, the daily, the 4, the 2, the 1, the 30, the 15, and the 5. I don't have any more time frames. So real quick here, I'm curious, who's looking good in the XLU? All right, little pop here in the NQ. Make sure you guys mark up your daily AEMA on the NQ. Could be a big spot. Utilities. Got to be something good looking here. Nextera, CEG, SO, the Duke. All right, quick look at a few of these guys. The Duke. I think XLU looks a little better than Duke. NEE. I wouldn't buy it under a falling daily 200. All right, where's all the studs here? SO. Yeah, beautiful. Daily squeeze, white arrow, nice push. A bunch of buy signals, so that one looks pretty sharp. VST's moving nicely, and then AEP. Again, not my favorite thing to trade, but putting that personal gripe aside, a lot of really good-looking squeeze action here. Let me go do this real quick. All right, let's count up all the white arrows we got. White arrow on the 2, white arrow on, not the 1. Got one on the 30, got one on the 15, got one on the 5. What about the big boys? I kind of like it, actually. I like the pattern a lot. All right, big push, pull back to the 50 SMA. They hold it, pop it, rebuild. You know what I really like about it? Aside from the squeeze, the buy trigger, all that good stuff, from get my drawing tool here. So check this out. For the first time this year, you've got that weekly MACD trying to cross back above 0. All right, so you have a negative cross back here. Momentum kicks off a bear cycle, and they flush it, and they pop it, and they chop, and they flush again, they pop, they chop some more, they flush, they pop. This is kind of like getting a fresh tank of gas. Momentum just crossed back above 0. They're doing that in a huge ass squeeze. Really good trend behind you, really good structure, 21 above the 50, 50 above your 200. You've got the 50 trending higher, 21 trending higher, stacked EMAs. Then the cherry on top, you look underneath it, 3-day squeeze, 2-day squeeze, all of the squeezes. Yeah, pretty good here. White arrow on the 3-day and then the 2-day. And I'm pretty sure it's our strongest sector. Third place it goes financials, industrials tied for first, and then utilities. All right, I'm going to put that on the watch list. Cannot be a hater. It also sticks out, right? Compared to an Apple, a Meta, an Amazon, a Google. A few things of interest. All right, a couple more here, but I do like that one. See, 3-day squeezes. The dark green means a little too far from the buy zone. All right, and then lower time frames, which might be maybe a little more up my alley. You got the Autodesk XLY and Amazon. We almost bought some Amazon at the close yesterday. Let's go see if we regret not doing that. Down about $1. Saved ourselves some cash here so far. But in a really, really nice end of day hourly squeeze. Today, tomorrow, into next week, it'll be more of a QQQ thing. If the QQQ can hold the daily AEMA, it gets a fresh 15-minute buy trigger, fresh 30-minute buy trigger. You should get a turn back up in the Amazons and Metas and Microsofts. So we shall look for that picture being painted. So here's Microsoft. It could be a good buy zone. I've got nothing telling me to buy it right now. No 5-minute buy trigger, no 15, no 30. The blues. Would love to buy some Amazon right here. 30-minute goes neutral, 15-minute neutral. Would love to buy some NVIDIA. I think NVIDIA's got a call wall at $1.60. There we go. NVIDIA call wall. Yeah, it's up there at 160. So I would love to jump in, buy off the AEMA. And then I'm looking to buy maybe a 160 call for a few weeks out. Yeah, I would really like that trade. Right now, the 160 for July expiration goes for about $2, and the at the money going for about 5 to 6. $10 expected move. So yeah, I'd love to buy that call right here. If I pull up the hourly NVIDIA, not great, not bad, just neutral. Neutral means no edge. Your trend is kind of lame. Your structure is kind of lame. Momentum is lame. What's not lame is all the action you had back here. You've got momentum. You've got really good structure. You got an hourly uptrend. Buy signals, perfect scores. I don't think you have to be too good to make cash during that kind of moment in time. And then when things go from bearish to neutral, bullish to neutral, it all just gets so much more difficult. So our job should be trying to identify, hey, I'm at a point in time where it could be the 5-minute NVIDIA, it could be the 30, the 4, the weekly. But based on the criteria, we're at a point in time where the go-in could be pretty good here. Can jump in, sell the puts, buy the calls, buy the butterfly. And things are pointing towards they might make my job pretty easy. Doesn't look like a 4 out of 15. And if you're new, guys, a 15 comes from all my criteria. I've got the trend checklist, I got the structure checklist, and the momentum checklist. Between the three, we have about 15 different data points. That's our report card. Of all the bearish criteria, of all the bullish criteria, we have a positive 4. I can't do too much with that. A weekly squeeze here on the utilities, or any time frame apparently. It doesn't mean the trade works, but yeah, I can definitely work with that. All the bullish points, all momentum, the structure, the white arrow. You buy that at 82, you're wrong back below, call it 80 and change. You take on the 3-ish% risk if they break it out, if the squeeze fires long, which for now the indicator suggests it might. We're looking up here into 87, 88. Now think about every 25, 50, 100 trades you take. If you're putting yourself in spots where you're risking about 2 to 3% against you to make potentially 6 or 7 in your favor, you don't need a 95, 90, 80, even a 70% win rate. In my room, we got the 70% win rate. That's that's what I'm really trying to hone in on right now. Entries and the exits to maximize that risk reward. But all right, guys, enough blabbing for me here. So we got utilities looking pretty good on basically every time frame. And then as far as your SMH names, your NVIDIAs, all the crowd favorites here. Question 1, can they hold their daily AEMA? Question 2, above that AEMA, can you get a buy trigger? Whatever a buy trigger might be to you. To me, would be a green label on a 5, a 15, a 30. So we'll see what we got. But all right, guys, any questions, anything y'all want to take a look at? I will get caught up in the chat here. Tesla popping? Yeah, Tesla could use a pop. Nice, yeah. Atta boy, Tesla. It does take you back to your 50 and your 200. Could be the gap up in the Dikembe Mutombo. Right, no, rejection. But yeah, good pop there. It won't hurt its case. Yeah, Ram, material is also pretty strong. All right, Ram, you're looking at KTOS, Cipher, Chipotle, Kava, and TMC. All right, TMC. Okay, same idea as buying QQQ and an 8 EMA. I would love to buy TMC at the 21 EMA. 15 points, all the pretty colors. Neutral 5, neutral 15, neutral 30. And here's the thing, guys. This is what it should look like. So back here in early June, here's TMC above your 21 EMA. All right, big push to break out the pump. All right, well, what did your hourly chart look like back there? Thing was perfect. Structure, momentum, buy trigger. All right, what did my 30-minute time frame look like? Nothing but buy signals. What about the 15-minute time frame? Bunch of 15-minute buy signals. It kind of looks like that every single time. 21 EMA, 5-minute chart goes bullish, 15-minute, 30-minute. They give you the alignment to kick off the push. So by comparison, your current 15-minute TSM kind of on the opposite side of the fence with a negative 13. What about, let's go look at, say, the hourly. It's a negative 5. So from a scoring system perspective, when they kicked off that pushback here, your 1-hour time frame had 15 things working in your favor. The current hourly time frame has negative 5 things working in your favor. If the goal is, hey, I'm going to jump in, I'm going to buy it now, and I want to be in a position to get paid as soon as possible. Keep showing you guys the same example, but it was such a clean example. The crowd daily squeeze from May 21st. Daily squeeze, white arrow, perfect score. 15-minute buy trigger, 5-minute buy trigger, 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, daily, weekly. Doesn't guarantee the breakout, of course, but it puts the odds really in your favor. So for TMC, I would wait for a buy trigger. And it's a great spot to look for one. And then on the other one here, Kava. -6 on your daily, and you got a weird little spot here. Support at your 21 EMA and resistance at your 50 SMA. A little tough to read that one in that box. And then Chipotle. Like a JP Morgan, a Goldman, XLF, Microsoft. Could it keep on going, of course, but it's also at a point where, we could be looking at it Monday morning back here to 55, 54. And it'd be a normal ebb and flow reversion to the mean pullback. The fact you have a 4-hour buy trigger, a 2, a 1, a 30, might imply they want to keep it going. And then KTOS. Love that daily squeeze. Don't love the lower time frames yet. Right, so play the game of comparison here. All right, crowd versus KTOS. White arrow daily squeeze, white arrow daily squeeze. Nothing but lower time frame buy signals. Neutral 2, neutral hourly, neutral 30, bearish 15. I don't think we can ever find an example of a daily squeeze breaking out with a 15-minute sell trigger. So I would sit back, wait for the 15-minute sell trigger to cancel, and then ideally you go through the full transition. 15-minute bearish to neutral, 15-minute neutral back to bullish. Then they give you the oomph. The oomph. Hey, good morning, David. Besides a 21 EMA, any other thoughts on a stop? Yeah, depending on the context of where you buy it, the current market at hand, I think your 8 EMA on the daily time frame. So, for example, if I'm long some NVIDIA calls right now, and if I'm not comfortable sitting through a pullback to that 21 EMA, I think you watch that momentum moving average at 8 EMA. Right, they break it, can't get back above it, close beneath it. They might turn the corner, gap it up the following day, but they could also kick it back into 147-ish from there. So I do like that. And for more of a day trade approach, I'm also a fan of an ATR trailing stop. Do this here. So let's go look at NVIDIA hourly. The dotted blue line's the ATR trailing stop. So in this example, if I was long NVIDIA into the open yesterday, I would have had to jump ship here at the open, yesterday's open, on the gap down and the shift back below the trailing stop. Now, maybe I want to come in and try to find the spot to buy the NVIDIA dip today. I could watch my 5-minute time frame. In the first 5-minute candle close back above the trailing stop, can jump in, buy a cheap call, then anchor to that level. You can work a target, or you let that trailing stop dictate where you take your profit. So a couple ideas there. All right, good morning, guys. Good morning, Jace. Good morning, Eagle Eyes. Good morning, David, Robert. Yeah, so Bitcoin here. And I got to jump in a minute, guys, but Bitcoin, check it out on the 2-day time frame. Wrong chart. It does look poised for a breakout. Right, the rally off the bottom, the pullback, the chop. It's pretty good chop too. We're talking May until July. But the chop gives you a brand new daily squeeze. They give you a white arrow, the triple white arrow, and the target would be around that one. We'll call it $1.20. Now the key here to get that path going, they have to get a daily buy signal. And the reason they don't have one right now, momentum. Check the structure. Structure is good. Check the trend. The trend is good. But you've had that daily MACD below zero since the beginning of June. Makes that breakout so much harder. All right, big pump, big pump. Look out. Here comes Bitcoin. Jump on in, buy your Coinbase calls, and then they flush it. They pop again. They flush it. They pop again. They chop. If they can get that turn, trigger a white arrow, it'd be a nice combo, daily and the 2-day. But all right, guys, I got to jump into the main room here. It's simpler for the open. So as always, thank you for your time. Thank you for your questions. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Don't forget, we have a half day tomorrow. And then we are out of here on Friday. So have a great 4th. Be safe. Party it up. Have a little fun. But we got to get back to work on Monday. So don't have too much fun. Thank y'all again, folks in my room, folks in the MTT room. I'll see you in 25 seconds.